Hello everyone, I'm Wang Luofei. Welcome to the class of musical analysis and songwriting. Let's study the wonders of songwriting and learn about songwriting by analyzing sounds together. Have you ever wondered what is music and what is a song? The definitions of music and song in textbooks or encyclopedias may be very long and complicated. But you can simply think of a song as music that someone sings. So, what is singing essentially? It is lyrics with a melody. Let's take a look at this video and think, is this music or a song? Maybe you think of it as a kind of music because it has a variety of rhythms, but it's not a song because it doesn't have a melody. So in this lesson, let's talk about what a melody is and what it is made of. Melody is organized arrangement of musical notes. What we are going to learn today is really only one more word than the melody. Line. Yes, melody line. So what is organized? What can it be organized into? What are the different characteristics of melodies formed by different arrangements of the organization? These are the focus of our discussion in this section today. The main points of this lesson are three. First, the definition and meaning of the melody line. Second, the concept and stylistic characteristics of step or conjunct motion. Third, the concept and stylistic characteristics of skip-wise or disjunct motion. The latter 2 points are both the focus and the difficulty of this lesson. Now let's first look at what the melody line is. This is the explanation of the melody line by some experts and scholars. It seems very convoluted and confusing for us, doesn't it? What do all those words mean in this situation? Morphological signature, invisible, and intrinsic dynamics. Well, it's okay if you don't understand those concepts. The word melody line is literally what it means. A line made from a melody is actually a melody line. When you first learn music, your teacher must have told you that the higher a tone is, the higher it is written in the musical staves, and vice versa. The lower a tone is, the lower it is written in the staves. For example, let's look at a table that shows how all the white keys of the 88 keys playing on the piano correspond to the staves positions. This part is for Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Si, and Do in the next octave. Re is higher in pitch than Do, so in the stave, Re will be written in a higher position than the Do. Mi has a higher pitch than Re, so Mi is written higher than Re in the stave. Let's go back to this table. On piano keyboard, if you play the piano keys one by one from left to right, the tones you played will gradually rise. And at the same time, the positions of these tones on the stave will also keep rising. So now, if you are given a melody in score, you just need to connect all the note hands of the notes with a line. This line is the melody line. Connecting the hand of each note with a pencil is probably a task you're able to do well when you're in kindergarten age. But now we have to do this task again. And how does it help us learn to write songs? The appearance of the melody line presents the trend of where this melody is going. Studying the melody line is actually studying the trend of the melody to appreciate how different melody directions portray different musical images and express different emotions. When you are writing a song, you will know what melody line to use to express sadness, what melody line to express joy, what melody line to portray the sun shining, and what melody line to portray the lightning and thunder. Master the inner rules of the melody line and eventually apply them throughout your songwriting. Next, let's enjoy a piece of melody from a song, the sheet of which will appear at the same time. While enjoying the music, let's connect the notes on the sheet with a line, so that we can experience the mood of the music and observe the characteristics of the melody line.
無法可修飾的一對手，帶出溫暖永遠在背後。縱是囉嗦，始終關注，不懂珍惜，太內疚。
How does the melody sound? Try to describe it in a few words. Do you feel it is gentle, smooth, quiet, and deep? Now let's take a look at its melody line. This melody consists of 4 phrases, and these melody lines generally show a relatively flat trend. In other words, it doesn't have a lot of ups and downs. Let's sing the score in tonic solfa. So, do, re, mi, 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 re, do, re. Re, mi, re, do, 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 si, do, la. Do, re, mi, 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 re, do. Re, 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 do, si, do. Notice the notes. Do, re, mi, re, do, re. Re, mi, re, do, si, do. What are the characteristics among these circle notes? Yes, they are all notes immediately adjacent to each other in the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si. This type of music line has a name called conjunct, or step. The conjunct motion refers to the proceeding by step from one scale degree to the next. Or we can say that's the proceeding by the interval of a second. Interval is the distance between 2 pitches. Now let's have a quick review of the music theory related to this. In our daily life, we can use miles to express the distance between 2 cities, and we can also use minutes to express the time from the beginning of the class to the present. Obviously, the distance from do to sol, do, re, mi, fa, sol, is greater than the distance from do to mi, do, re, mi. So, how can this distance be expressed? How can this distance be quantified? In miles or minutes? Of course not. It is interval. The distance between 2 tones is called the interval. If the interval contains a total of 3 tones, then the interval is called a third. If it contains a total of 4 tones, then the interval is called a fourth. For example, from do to re, this interval contains a total of 2 tones, do, re, so it is the interval of a second. And do, mi, do, re, mi, 3 notes, so it's the interval of a third. And re, sol, re, mi, fa, sol, 4 notes involved, so that's the interval of a fourth. As we discussed earlier, the melody from I Really Love You sounds gentle, smooth, quiet, and deep, which is also the kind of listening experience that conjunct motion generally brings. After learning about conjunct motion, let's enjoy a piece of melody from another song that contains the intervals of a third. Try to feel the differences between this melodic motion with conjunct motion.
I was dancing with my darling to the Tennessee waltz when an old friend I happened to see.
Mi, sol, mi, fa, sol, 3 notes, so from mi to sol is the interval of a third. La, do, la, si, do. 3 notes also, so from la to do is also the interval of a third. Compared to the part of the melody of I Really Love You we just heard, this melody has more intervals of thirds. Is there any difference between it and the I Really Love You melody? In contrast, it sounds and feels slightly more impassioned and not as smooth and mellow as I Really Love You. It is because there are more thirds in this melody, so the feeling of mellowness and smoothness of this motion is a little weaker. What's the name of this kind of melody line that does not go from one note to the adjacent next one? Disjunct motion. What is disjunct motion? As long as it's not a conjunct motion, the rest is disjunct motion, including the proceeding of the interval of a third and above. Compared to conjunct motion, melodies that use more disjunct motion will sound less mellow and smooth, and will be a bit angular. Moreover, the larger the leap, such as the intervals of fourth, fifth, sixth, etc., the more personalized and pronounced the angles will be, and it will be easier to impress people. Next, there will be 2 pieces of melody that contain intervals of fourths for you to confirm whether they sound more angular than the motion containing the interval of a third.
高级啊！
前头是高山，后头是黄河。
哇，
冷冷的北风迎面吹过来。
Look how wide the judge's mouth opened. What a personalized melody. This melody is all in fourth. When the melody that is full of fourths appears, it immediately makes people to feel the kind of ruggedness and wildness of the northwest of China. In addition to the folk songs in the northwest of China, there is also another category of songs that often use the fourths. For example, the national anthem of PRC is one of the examples. Its first starting notes is so, do, so, la, si, do, fourth. The next song is also a typical example.
起来，饥寒交迫的奴隶，起来，全世界受苦的人，满腔的热血已经沸腾，要为真理而斗争。
Because of its powerful sounding melodic motion in pure fourth, it is often used in songs with a strong rallying cry. For example, the fourths in the Chinese anthem and the Internationale both have the lyrics "Rise up," 起来 in Chinese. After learning the interval of a second or conjunct motion and the motion of the third and fourth in the disjunct motion, now please try to explore the disjunct motion in fifths, sixths, sevenths, and octaves. Think about which sounds contain melody motions in fifths, sixths, sevenths, and octaves. You can listen to the song online and share your listening experience of such a melody line. Or you can go online or to the library and look up the score of the song. Write down the melody in sheets, sing the score, and then connect the note hands to see where the melody line goes. Finally, study how the melody motions in fifths, sixths, sevenths, and octaves contribute to your songwriting. You can share your answers with other learners or with me through the forum. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me via email or WeChat. This section provides you the opportunity for self-reflection before the end of this lesson.